Hi, Kevin Lawrence here, or as most people call me, Coach Kevin or Coach K. Today I want to talk about weekly meetings. And in lots of companies, weekly meetings is a regular discipline, although maybe I wouldn't call it a discipline. It's just something that's regular. And usually they're one of the things that are most often messed up in companies. And there's a simple fix, and I'm going to talk to you about that today. And the main question for you to consider is, how much debate do you have in your weekly meetings? How much of your weekly meeting do you take the smartest people that you've collected as part of your team and just debate and discuss important issues that are going to move the company or your department ahead? Is it half the meeting? Quarter of the meeting? Or none of the meeting? Unfortunately, in most cases, most weekly meetings are 60, 90, 120 minutes of updates and listening. As Patrick Lencioni says in his book, A Death by a Meeting, the worst strategy you can have is to bring together your people for a weekly meeting and bore them to death with updates and making them listen to each other and then send them on their way. That's not the best way to build a vibrant company. What you want to do is bring those people together and have vibrant debates. The other book in Mastering Rockefeller Habits, Vern Harnish talks about the power of meetings and how the meeting rhythms, not only weekly, but you need to have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual meetings to have your company run well. So what I want to talk to you about is the weekly meeting agenda that we use and I often use with clients. And the idea here is setting up the agenda so you cover what you need to. The first half of the meeting is what we call mining the brutal facts. Getting a sense of what's going on in a company so that in the second half of the meeting, we know what we need to debate and we can put our energy into discussing the most important thing. Because what we thought was important coming into the meeting likely is very different after we get a sense of where the company's at. So the agenda is, good news, 5 minutes. Starting off on a positive note, knowing what's happening in the company and where we're winning. Secondly is reviewing our goals or our priorities, or in Rockefeller Habits we'll call the rocks, and our KPIs and financials that we have. 10 minutes. We don't need to know a whole bunch. We just need to know where we're at. And then secondly, we got to listen to our customers and employees. We got to hear what the executives are picking up from people in the company and from those outside the company that we need to pay attention to. Then we have a big line that you have to cross, and you've got to go, you can see the big red stripe here, you've got to go cross that line and get into the discussion and debate in what we call collective intelligence. So in the first half, you knew what to discuss. In the second half, you get in and discuss it. 30 minutes or half the meeting is the ideal. If your weekly is an hour and a half, at least still getting 30 minutes to dig into important issues. Then at the very end, who, what, when. A great debate or discussion is wonderful, but what's going to happen next? If there wasn't a decision, what is the next step? What's the data we're going to pull? What's the research we're going to do? Circle back next week. Or if there was a decision, who's going to do what by when? Just need to make sure that that gets done. So the key point I want to reinforce more than anything, that when you bring your team together on a weekly basis, you need to have half of the meeting to discuss the most important, robust challenges you have and not bore them to death with updates and information that they could read if they wanted to just scan a report anyways. All right, I wish you well. Have a great day.